Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Gnomoria here in Devil Dagger. As you saw in the last episode, we had a merchant that was visiting from Rock Dirt, who has now seemed to have disappeared. Not really sure what happened to him. It's very... Oh, he snuck in while I wasn't looking. So let's go ahead and see what exactly he is offering. Lots of copper ore, lots of tin ore, which is great. That means we can get some more bronze armor and bronze weapons created. So we'll go ahead and see exactly how much trade goods we actually have. Just trade all the pet rocks and all the statuettes. And we got 782 out of that. So a little bit less than the last time, but we have a ton of wheat straw that we can trade, which is awesome. And let's see, do we have a massive amount of anything else that we can get rid of? We have a lot of wheat grain, wheat seeds, so that's nice. Quite a bit of cotton, some birch logs, some pine logs we can get rid of. Alright, so let's see, 792 split in half is 346, I believe? No, 396? Maybe? No, that can't be right. 396? 350 would be 700. Oh boy, math, it's a thing, and it is hurting my brain. Alright, so let's see. We'll do 30 for right now and see how much that gets us. That gets us 480. Alright, so we'll take it down by 10. That'll be 160 less. So that'll bring us right about 320, which isn't too bad. And we'll grab 2010 as well. That'll bring us to 640. So we got 152 more that we can do. So that's roughly 10. So I think that we can squeeze that out of our wheat stores as well. And I think I'm gonna actually cut our wheat storage in half as well and see how much that gives us. So 225 gives us over 1,000, which would be nice. So 217 more. It's roughly, so about 5 more of each. Alright, so we're at 960. Got 57 more we can do. Alright, might as well just do one of each, because we're not going to get much closer than that. I think we were down 1 copper ore last I checked our stocks, so we'll go ahead and offset that. And that's perfectly reasonable in my opinion. We'll go ahead and let that trade happen. They got 9 gnome bucks of profit, so we'll let them have it, no big deal. But that does mean that we have quite a bit more ore. We have 39 of each ore, which is nice. That'll give us about 20 bars apiece, which will give us 40 bronze bars. So we should be looking at quite a nice set of armor for our other sentinel once they actually get equipped. And for right now, I think we're going to go ahead and set up the tailor's workshop. So we'll tell them to deconstruct this and this. And then we will tell them to move that up to, well, we'll wait for them to deconstruct it. That way we actually have all the materials and we don't have to wait on anything. Because I don't want the game to try and auto-build the necessary building materials. And yes, that is an option that you can turn on or off in the game. When you do build jobs, you can have the game auto-generate it, which is something that I do like to do. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, so right there. Go ahead and build the tailor's workshop as well. They should have everything they need. Go ahead and get all of that moved, and then we'll set up the workshops to go ahead and keep everything at the same levels as we had before. That way our production, or our supply chain, production chain, whatever you want to call it, isn't slowed down at all. So we'll tell them to keep 16 bolts of cotton cloth on hand at all times. And, well, the gnome just... Who was that? Let's see who that was. Windblaft. Windblaft, what? You just quit right in the middle of your work, man. You gotta finish the job. And who's coming to take over? Bingle Fifna. Alright, and we need them to keep 11 padding on hand at all times for our armor. And the bag, sacks, bandage, that's something we definitely need. Gotta keep 32 of those on hand at all times. That's just for the safety of our gnomes. When they do get into battle, they can repair themselves quickly. Or patch themselves up quickly, rather. Alright, so that has cleaned up 2 workshops out of this area. And as soon as we get another nomad wave, I think we'll be good on our military, because we'll actually be able to put another sentinel down. But until then, we're not going to have very much that we can work with. Let's see here. And it looks like we are all out of room over here at the smelter, which means that we can take the leftovers and smelt that into bars, and we'll go ahead and just put that on repeat because we're constantly going to be getting an influx of warm gear that we can smelt down into slivers, and then that will eventually be able to create it into bars, which we can then use to create into armor for our military. Or if we want to, we can create it into statues, which will add a crap ton of worth to the kingdom. Let's see. Only got 2 gnomes sleeping, which means, no, there's not a lot of gnomes idle at the moment, which is pretty nice. Got our gnomes training, which is good. Now that we're waiting for all those bars to be made, I think another project we can start working on is the removal of this layer. And the reason I want to remove this layer is twofold, really. One is to make it so that we don't have any spawns right here. And the second reason is we want to kind of create a cavern-like area for our mines. And as long as nobody gets trapped down there, we should be alright. And we're going to go ahead and tell them to remove this whole section here. And I'm probably... yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So I have to tell them to leave that open for right now, just so we can remove that floor and rebuild that torch, because the game doesn't handle removing a floor from underneath a torch too well. That's okay, it's just the way the game's coded, basically. So we'll leave our miner to do that. And let's see if we have anything else that we can trade, and since the trader is still here. Go ahead and trade all of these, and we got another 488 out of that, so that's pretty good. Let's see, 10 would be 160, 20 would be 320, so 30, so 15 of each should be right about there. Yep, 480, which is perfectly fine. We'll accept that trade. That'll give us some more copper and tin that can be smelted down into bronze. Looks like our arms dealer is working away, and I cannot remember if we actually set up somebody else. Yes, we do actually have another job for a blacksmith, but I do not believe... Oh no, we do. I wonder why it's taking so long to get everything done then. Interesting. I guess the blacksmith is over here making all the coal that the arms dealer needs. Alright, that's perfectly acceptable. And the gnomes are still busy training. Now that we're starting to approach the 32,000 mark, I'm getting really wary of the amount of food that we have. Would like to move these farms just to kind of clear up this area right here. That way I know that we only have a few more workshops to create actual spaces in the kingdom for. But for right now, I think I'm going to put a cut in here, guys, and just wait out the moving of materials, the creating of product. Like I said, we're working on removing this floor, so I will bring you guys back as soon as something exciting happens, or as soon as we have cleared out this level and we can start moving on clearing out the next level. So see you guys in a bit. Hey guys, and welcome back. We finally finished all the armor plates for the next suit of armor. We also have another bronze tower shield that's ready to go, and we still have a little bit of ore. We have 22 copper and 12 tin. And the reason is because there was a few copper slivers over here in the smelter that were used to create the copper bars rather than the copper ore itself. Upstairs, the tailor's area has been beautified a little bit. It's got a nice birch floor with the applewood railing for the stairwell. And there's some clay walls right here that are just placeholders for when I go to decorate it fully and actually expand it a little bit to actually have a little bit more storage so that items are readily available. But downstairs, where the bulk of the work took place, this floor has been completely cleared out. What you're seeing is actually this floor right here, and I went ahead and put a decorative marble block in there just to show that there used to be access to this level, but it's now been sealed off. And I think it creates a nice little atmosphere of a cave almost. The walls are closing in towards the roof, and it's just underneath the blacksmith here, which is kind of cool. But that actually brings us to the point to where we can tell the armorer to go ahead and cancel these armor plates for right now. And we're going to tell him to craft another full suit of armor for our next sentinel. Oh, we just want one breastplate. We do want 2 pauldrons and 2 of everything else, however. And this will actually put us in a pretty good position to defend ourselves. The next step in terms of weaponry is to create bronze weapons. And that will actually make our military pretty well armed against the goblins, because they are still using copper armor. That'll actually put us one step ahead of them, but more importantly, it'll put us at a better position to fight off Mants, because if I'm not mistaken, the copper armor is actually not that great against the Mants. So that'll basically be a godsend for us. Rather than waiting until the end of the season to get another nomad wave, I have decided that I'm going to take probably the Thor Squire person that we have, Janet, and make her a sentinel. She's been getting a little bit of practice with the shield, so her skills should be pretty good. She's at a 23, and Chase Watson is sitting at 25 with his shield, which is not anything to sneeze at, really. It's actually pretty decent skill, considering we're only in the 2nd year. And so we are waiting for our arms dealer Gyrums to go ahead and finish that up. as soon as he finishes up that full suit of armor, we will go ahead. And it looks like Chase Watson actually came in and exchanged some of his armor, so I'm guessing that's probably a little bit better in terms of the quality. And your gnomes will automatically go to the best quality of a particular item, just because they, have an instinct to survive themselves and want to have the best kind of equipment that they can have. But looking around, the fort looks pretty ugly in my opinion, and we really need to start laying down some floors and some walls for the movement in between different workshops and bedrooms and such. But with the kingdom worth being at 38,000 already, jeez, that jumped up quick. That jumped another 9,000 just pretty much in the blink of an eye, and that's straight from the value of the armor. And that's why I actually didn't want any armor at the beginning being copper, because trying to switch from copper to bronze, not only is it expensive because you have to reinvest all that copper ore, and smelting it down at the smelter, yeah, you get a little bit of return, but you don't get nearly as much as trying to just basically hold off until you get enough copper ore in the first go round to do everything. So as you can see, armor and weapons will add a huge amount of kingdom worth to your kingdom. But it looks like our, what is this, stone carver has already made all the pet rocks that we asked him or her to make, so that's nice. We are going to continue the pattern of removing the floor on the levels that we dig out, and that brings me to this point here. I actually set up this little area here as a placeholder for all our supports, and that just kind of shows where the next level supports are, because if you notice, the stairwell kind of drifts off all the way down to here, so eventually all the support columns will lead back up to these initial support columns that we laid down. I don't think I'm going to be digging on this side at all. Honey badger, perfect to show exactly what I learned in between the break. To keep my gnomes safe for right now, I figured out that if you go into their formations and you hit avoid enemies, they will actually run away from the enemy rather than trying to kill it, thereby, saving your gnomes and keeping them from getting hurt or anything like that. You have to remember to turn it back off, because if they don't have it back off, which apparently I forgot to do, they actually won't train at all. They'll hit each other and then run to opposite corners of the map, basically, which is really aggravating if you don't understand why your gnomes are training at the training grounds but then not actually training, because it actually makes it to where the skill level doesn't go up that fast. And looking around, it's kind of dark outside, so let's go ahead and throw some wall torches up on the exit or entrance of the gatehouse right here. Make it a little bit brighter out here, the main square of the kingdom. And it looks like the next suit of armor has just been created, which is great, because, and if I looked in the right stockpile, I might be able to actually find it. So, yep, we have the full set. It's ready to go, so Janet will be getting equipped in the next episode. And as promised, because I have 2 sentinels that are going to have a full suit of armor and 2 tower shields, I'll start working on the bronze weaponry, but I think we're going to be focusing on the construction of the tower right in here, so look forward to that. Alright guys, from everyone here in Devil Dagger, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like down below. It helps me know exactly what kind of content you guys want to see. If you have any feedback, please drop it down below. I'm always welcome to some advice, some tips, things to make the episodes a little bit better. And if you want to join the colony, drop your name down below. Happy to add you in the next Nomad Wave. But from everyone here in Devil Dagger, y'all have a great one.